Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, we just got a notification from Hubsan of a firmware update for the Zino 2, and there was recently an app update for the Zino 2. So we're going to talk about those today. I'm going to walk through the upgrade process on the Zino 2, and I know many of you are probably already familiar with it, but making the assumption that there's some new people that haven't done it before, and it's very, very simple, very straightforward, but I want to just show it again for that audience. And then once we're done with all the updates here, we'll take it out into the field and we'll fly it, and we'll see if anything's been accomplished. So let's talk about the updates that they did. Now, with regard to the app, all the liner notes are in Chinese, so who knows what that means. Have no idea what that update did with regard to the app. However, with the flight control firmware, let's see, it says here, I'm looking at Hubsan's post. I printed off some notes here so I'd get it right. It upgrades to FC version V0.0.78, and the changelog is as follows: optimize altitude hold function, optimize landing mode, and optimize flight control capability. Well, all three of those things are things that I guess I can say I can be pretty darn happy about, because one of my biggest criticisms of this drone has been, when it lands, it doesn't know where the ground is, still thinks it's, 2 or 3 feet up in the air. It spins the propellers a while after it lands. Often it moves around. Many people have had that experience, including me. Stability-wise, it just is not. It moves around a lot. So it's tough, at least for me, to land right on that pad accurately. I'm talking about a manual landing. And then, I've done some experimentation where I've sent it out at one height across a field, and as soon as it seems to either lower or gain altitude. And of course, that's what these downward facing sensors are for, is to help it know where the ground is and stay at the same altitude. So clearly there's some tuning that Hubsan needed to do there, and hopefully they've done it. One of the most dramatic things that happened to me is I saw the drone start to dive, so I let off the stick, and as soon as I let off the stick, it literally shot up like 25 feet in the air, which didn't hurt anything, right? But then it slowly came back down, and then it sunk down to within a couple of feet of the ground. So clearly this guy is struggling a little bit to know where it's at in space and with regard to the ground. So my hope is that's what Hubsan has addressed here, and we'll take it out in the field and we'll try it out. More than that, I guess we should talk a little bit about the Zino 2 Plus. The only real change that it looks like, it's a very incremental change in that drone, and if you look at their website now, they've got it priced identical to the Zino 2. So I just don't know if it's a second run or what it is, but one of the things that they say they've done is they've increased the range and they've increased the flight time. And so I'm looking at some of the posts that Pete Martin has made on Facebook, and he's a radio guy and he understands this stuff pretty well. And what he's saying is the difference is that they changed it to synchronous lease rather than asynchronous lease. Now, what that means, I have no clue, but I do know that the specs say it'll get another kilometer. It'll go out to 8 kilometers or 9 kilometers. Well, the previous 8 kilometers was fine with me, and I can say this: I have never had a connection issue with this drone. So always been happy with the connection issue. I didn't even think that that was something that needed to be addressed, but you know, Hubsan, their engineers evidently thought it was something they could do. And then the other thing is on the Zino Pro, which is not a drone that I have ever owned. As we all know, the older Zino, the original Zino and the Zino Pro did not have a smart battery. So they relied on the charger to charge them fully and in a balanced charge. And they came with a balanced charger. So now it's a smart battery for that drone, which I have to say is a good thing, right? Because we all know some of the problems with the batteries on those early Zinos. They'd reach a point, and evidently there's circuitry in there that once that battery gets to a certain problem level, just cuts out, and there's been drones that have dropped from the sky. So I would say that smart battery on that Zino Pro is probably a good thing. However, as Pete Martin noted, and it's true, what it does then is it locks you in to Hubsan's proprietary battery. But that's not a bad thing. We do that all the time with all of our drones, our DJI drones, our FEMI drones, etc. So that's nothing new, and I see that as an improvement. So anyway, let's get to work here, and let's fire this thing up, and let's get the app updated. Okay, so I've got the drone on, and of course you want to take the gimbal cover off when you do that, when you fire up the drone, so you don't overload the gimbal. And then I turn on the controller, and now I've got the app fired up. So we're going to click Enter Device and Enter Main Interface, and I suspect it will tell us that we need a firmware update as soon as it gets all connected up here. And it indeed is asking me for an upgrade. So I'm simply going to click on Upgrade, and then it prompts you through the process here. And yeah, so again, it says just what it says here. It optimizes the altitude hold mode of the aircraft, optimizes landing mode of the aircraft, optimizes flight control performance. So we're going to click at the bottom right where it says download firmware files, and it seems to be doing it. Sometimes I find it faster to download. I'm at home right now, so I'm connected to my home Wi-Fi. I can tell you, if you ever run into a problem with that, sometimes I found it faster to download this firmware via cellular data. Okay, the download is now complete, so now I'm just going to click on that upgrade icon again in the bottom right hand side of the screen. So it's got a pie graph there under the number 2 there that's showing the progress of the upgrade, and it seems to be going pretty darn fast. Usually these things take quite a while, so this is gratifying to see how fast this thing is doing it. But I want to warn you, often it'll get to 99% and it'll pause there for a while. But I don't know, this is moving right along. Yeah, and there we have that hold at 99%. Yeah, it looks like it must be given time for the drone to reboot. Yeah, and it says upgrade complete. Yeah, please restart the aircraft manually before you continue using it. So we are finished. I'm going to click Finished. And I'm going to do just what it says. I'm going to restart the aircraft. Although it did do a manual restart itself. And the aircraft is off. We'll turn it back on here. So as soon as the aircraft fires back up, we'll take a look at the calibrations. You know, often it's probably a good idea after you do a firmware upgrade to recalibrate the gyro and obviously a compass calibration. But it'll be interesting. Let's see what it says here. I like that Hubsan has incorporated into their drone now a go, no-go screen on here that tells you the status of the aircraft. So it says weak GPS signal, so let's give it a chance here. It says ready to fly, so I think because I had the controller on and the app already on, it didn't give us that initial screen, but I'm going to tap at the top, and that takes us into that screen. And it says connected. Let's see, compass calibration is normal, horizontal calibration is normal, but let's go ahead and we'll do a compass calibration when we get out in the field. But right now, let's go ahead, because we did a firmware upgrade, let's go ahead and do that horizontal calibration. And it's kind of nice, they put it all on this go, no-go screen. So we're going to click on that. And because I've already got the drone on a flat surface, you want to do that always when it's on a flat surface. And it takes just a second. And yeah, it says it's done. So it liked that. And that just basically is telling the gyro and the IMU, hey, I'm on a flat plane right now, flat horizontal plane. And let's go ahead and do the gimbal calibration as well. Although I don't think that's necessarily something you have to do, but we're right here, so let's do it. So we'll hit the gimbal, and it says, then it gives us a dialog box to calibrate, and once it's completed it says to restart the aircraft. So we will do that, and you can see on the screen recording, you'll see it move the gimbal around here. Yeah, and the gimbal is still a little bit crooked there, but it says it's complete, so, and it's asking us to restart the aircraft, so we will. And it should go through its initial calibration like it usually does. Okay, so the aircraft is rebooted and it's reporting ready to fly, and we'll look at that go no-go page again, and it's telling us that everything is normal, so I think we're good to go. Power is at 98%, that's our battery. So we got to the go no-go page here, and it's telling us that everything is good, right? It's telling us our upgrade. Let's scroll down. It's telling us all of our calibrations are normal, telling us how much SD card capacity we have, 97% battery, so we don't want to waste that battery, so we'll get everything shut down here. One of the things that I want to do before we do that is, one of the things I noticed is it does not hold your settings in camera mode. So I'm going to switch to video, and I am going to go into the camera menu. Maybe, there we go. And I want to set, see, I had white balance set to sunny day before, so we're going to, I'm looking outside, it's kind of cloudy, so we're going to set white balance on cloudy day. And you can see that change, that really warmed up the color in the house here. So we know that works. And then I am going to look at 4K, and it's set on 60. I want to shoot at 30, so I'm going to set it on 30 frames per second. And then the other thing that I want to do is I want to have my grid lines on. So I'm going to turn on grid lines. What I want to see is, when we get out into the field, did it retain these settings? I'm willing to bet when we fire it back up out in the field, I'll have to reset all that again. But this is just a little experiment. Okay, I'm going to shut it all down. We're going to take this baby out in the field and fly it, and we'll see if we get any better landings and if the aircraft is more stable. Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, got the good old Hubsan Zino 2 here today, and we got some news on this guy. They upgraded the flight controls for it today, the flight control firmware, that is. And let me read you that. I brought my notes so I get it right here. It's been updated to FC V0.0.78, and the changelog is as follows. They optimized the altitude hold function, which we needed, and optimized landing mode, which we also needed, and they optimized the flight control capability, which that's a little vague, but it sounds good to me. So I think obviously we need to try this thing out. The issues have been with landing. It's tough to land it smoothly because it's moving around so much when you're trying to do a manual landing. But then even if you get that right, when it comes down, the altimeter doesn't know exactly where it's at, thinks it's still up in the air. Takes it a while to shut down motors. Sometimes it'll spin up one of the motors, and people have had them flip over and do other things. I had mine twist around on me one time when I was landing it. It didn't flip over, and so it was fine. But it's a problem with this drone, and so you had to know that would be a firmware fix. So hopefully they've got that fixed up. So we're going to try it out for sure and find out. And then the stability is the other big thing, right? This guy has those downward facing sensors, the infrared sensor and the optical flow sensor. So we'll see how well that works. I've got a GoPro, I don't know if you can see it here, I've got a GoPro set up out there in the field. So we'll fly back and forth between this camera and the GoPro, and we'll look for stability and see if it holds its height well. Hopefully I won't run it into one of the cameras. Yeah, fairly windy day out here today, like, you know, up to 16-mile-an-hour gusts. So that's probably a good time to be able to check the stability of this guy when there's a little bit of wind. So any improvements that they make will be fine with me. So yeah, let's just quit messing around. Let's put this baby up in the air and see what she'll do. Give me just a second to get it all together and get everything fired up. I've got the drone fired up, and I have the controller fired up, and we're going to enter device now, enter main interface, and usually it takes it a second here, and there it is, and then it should give us a status page here, and there it is, and it says connected. It says all the calibrations are normal, but because we just did that firmware upgrade, I did a gyro and a gimbal calibration at home, but we're going to do a compass calibration right here. Okay, it's initializing here after that calibration, telling us we're ready to fly. So remember what I told you when I did the upgrade? We looked at the camera settings. So I'm going to switch it into video mode, and let's go into that camera menu and let's see where we're at. And I don't see grid lines, so that tells me, yeah, put it back into 4K 60. Hubsan, you got to fix this. Once we set, you'd like to turn it on and have those settings right where you left them. And I don't know why that should be easy to do. I don't know why you can't do that. White balance, I'm going to put it on cloudy day because it is a cloudy day here today. And then I do want grid lines on. So grid lines are right there. Grid lines are on. I'm going to format the SD card just for the fun of it. Yeah, speed check passed. Look at that. We're good to go. Let's see, what else can we look at here? Yeah, I want to put it into metric meters per second, and then, yeah, oh yeah, the GPS accuracy test. I would have forgot to do that, so we're going to do that right now. Okay, so we're good on GPS accuracy. I want to check my return to home settings at 50 meters. That's plenty. Searching for drone apron is on, so we're good to go. I'm going to start recording now. So we're recording. I see no reason not to take off, so let's take off. So we got some wind today. And it's sinking. I mean, it's sunk a little bit there, but that's not too bad. Let's move it around here. We're in normal mode. Let's bring it in close. You know, I gotta say, I'm not feeling too bad, but that could just be in my imagination. Look at it moved back. So one of the things that happens is when you move over, it wants to move back to its other spot. So you can see it kind of drifting around there, but that's not too bad. For some reason, I lost FPV and it stopped recording. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, I'm going to land it. So this will be a test to see how well I can land it. There again, this guy is really touchy. It's hard to be very accurate. Yeah, no better than it ever was, I can tell you. Okay, straight down on the sticks. And I was well behind the pad there. But why we lost FPV there, I have no idea. So I'm going to hit this button again, because if it's recording, I want it to stop. Yeah, don't know what's going on. This is really strange. I don't think I've had this happen before. So what I'm going to do is reboot the app. Starting the Hubsan 2 app again. Enter device, enter main interface, connected, ready to fly. And there's our status screen, which is good. But we've got a blank screen. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. Why I wouldn't be getting a connection to the camera. Got no clue. It seems odd that it took place just right after we had a firmware update. Very strange. Okay, I'm going to shut everything down, including the app, and we're going to start over again. Okay, we've got everything rebooted. I'm trying to go back into the app here, and look at that. We've got the camera back, FPV back. I have no clue what happened there, guys. We got the device status list that says everything's normal. I've never had that happen before with this drone. Very strange. Okay, so again, we're gonna have to go back in here. Let's switch to video, and I'm gonna have to go back in and change it to 30 frames per second. Change the white balance to cloudy day, and I do want my grid lines, so let's go in there and flip those on, and let's start recording. And I don't know if we corrupted the file on that last video, but it doesn't matter. So hey, let's start over again. So I'm going to take off on the app. Okay, let's turn it around. I'm going to bring it in again. And again, we're in normal mode. A little bit of sun flare there because we're kind of facing the sun. So yeah, let's get it in here, bring it down just a tad. It's feeling pretty stable right now. Let's do the flick back and forth. So you can see it moving around a little bit. Let's do our usual droney. So reversing up now. Drop that camera down just a little. I like that. Okay. So far so good. I mean, you know, obviously it's never been a problem up in the air with this guy. So just for the fun of it, let's do a return to home and see if we can get a precision landing here. And as soon as it gets closer, I'll turn off the video camera because it does use the main camera for return to home. And then we're going to do some straight forward and backward flying. I've got the GoPro set up there, and hopefully it'll record some of that. It's directly above us now, coming down. As soon as it gets down here a little ways, and it's reorienting itself. Okay, video camera off. And let's see how close this guy gets. And what'll happen here is it'll lower the camera on its own here in a second. So there it lowered the camera, and it says it's searching. This one's pretty obvious. Yeah, it's got it on the target there, so let's see how it does. I think part of the problem with precision landing before, and I see it adjusting. Yeah, it's in camera frame now, so you can see it. Looks like we might get it. You know, in the past, it's got to that last few meters and missed. So we're pretty close there. It's a little bit off the H, but I'm going to call that good. And the other thing I'm going to say is that probably has to do with stability improvements, because before, when it was doing a precision landing, just like when you had it in manual control, it would move around a little bit. and you'd see it overcorrecting both directions. This seemed to be, and this is just anecdotal, but it seemed to be a little bit smoother. Okay, so let's take off again, and let's see if let's try it in just forward flight at low level flight and see how stable it is. So I'm not touching the sticks at all, and that was pretty smooth. Okay, I'm going to move it over here, and you can see why I like those grid lines. I'm going to try and line it up with the GoPro out there. And we're going to go, we are 1.9 meters, 2 meters off the ground roughly. Let's go full stick forward and see how we do. 1, 2, 3. Full stick forward in normal mode. And we were off a little bit there. That was pretty darn good. So as soon as I let off the sticks, yeah, it's holding pretty darn good. Okay, let me turn it around. We'll bring it back this way. That was pretty stable, so that's different than what we've seen in the past. I'm gonna see if I can get over the top of the GoPro. Excuse me, went the wrong way there. Okay, let's raise it up just a little. And so we're about 3.5 meters off the ground now. And we're going to go full stick forward here. And it's holding it pretty good. And I hit full reverse to put on the brakes there. I didn't want to take a chance. So that's not fair as far as, you know, how it rose there at the end, because I pulled full up on the stick. Okay, let's try that again. Let's turn it around. So again, we are about 2.5 meters off the ground. Full stick forward now. And what's weird is I was watching the drone raise in altitude, but the altimeter didn't say that. Now look at it drop. That's really weird. That is strange behavior, man. So it wasn't showing, you know, I was physically looking at the drone and I was watching it significantly rise, but I was also looking at the altimeter and it didn't move. So that's strange. I mean, I'm telling you, the drone, it moved way up. And when I say way up, it moved way up. Okay, so let's come straight back. Full stick forward. And it looks like I'm heading right for the sign here. So I'm going to stop. I've got that sign there. I didn't trust that, so I'm moving it over here again. So again, let's try this. Let's go full stick forward. Heck, it looks like it's lined right up on the sign now, doesn't it? Optical illusion. Full stick forward. So that wasn't too bad that time, although I can tell you it's more than, yeah, see, so now it's showing the correct height, and now it's dropping back down to that 2.5 meters. So let's try it in reverse and see if it does the same thing. There's reverse. Seems better in reverse. I mean, I'm just looking at it from here, although the altimeter shows difference, and now it's sinking. I can see it sink. Yeah, look at that. Now the altimeter is showing it. Yeah. You know, there again. What are those downward sensors for? This is pretty close to ground. Full stick forward. It's coming fast. Yeah, I mean, and boy, I'm watching it sink down now again. Look, it's barely off the ground here. What's that about, guys? I don't know. I'm saying the Hubsan still has some work to do. I mean, it's almost on the ground. Look at this. It's almost landed. Look at it. It's blowing up the grass. Holy cow. It wants to hit that sign there. See that sign? It's just aimed right at it. It was wanting that sign bad. Okay, full stick forward, close to the ground here. And now you saw it raise in altitude there. And I want to say at the end there, I was full reverse on the sticks. So again, we're 1/2 meter off the ground. We started at about 2.5 meters. So let's raise it up, 2.5 meters again. Let's let it settle in. That's about 2.8. There's about 2.5. Okay, we're going to try full reverse again. And according to the altimeter, well, this looks pretty good this time. It held the height real well. Now, as soon as I let off, it sunk a little bit, but not too bad. This one was pretty good. Okay, let's go full stick forward. And it is raising. I mean, it went it's way up there. Let's see if it compensates here. So that was full stick forward, and it was raising in height. I mean, it went way up there. Now it's dropping back down. You saw the altimeter finally catch up. Wow. I don't know what that is. Okay, we're going to try this one more time. Let's try it. Let's put it in film mode. And let's see, we're at 2.2 meters. Let's put it in film mode and see if it holds its height better at a slower speed. So there's sport and there's film. Let's drop it down a little bit. We can get it lower to the ground here. Okay, so we're about 1.8 meters. Okay, full stick forward now. And oh, that is at a really slow speed. Yeah, so it's holding it very well, of course. Well, maybe not. It's dropping. I'm watching it drop down to 1.5 meters. We're full stick forward. It's going about 0.5 meter per second. So, of course, it went over a curb there. I don't know if that makes any difference or not. Yeah, I don't know. That didn't seem to make much difference. Let's take a look at the GoPro here. See, I'm trying to line it up, and it keeps drifting back, and that is common of this drone. It doesn't hold its position. Okay, there's a good look at the GoPro. Okay, we're lined up on the GoPro, or sort of. I'm going to hit full reverse here. I'm going to put it back into normal mode. I don't think there's much point in leaving it in film mode. It didn't seem to make much difference. So normal mode, full reverse, straight down on the stick. And that was pretty good. I watched it sink a little bit. Okay, full stick forward again. And it really raised up there. Really went higher. And I was not raising the altitude at all. Don't know what that's about, guys. That is just so disappointing. Drop that gimbal down a little. Let's full stick forward back here and see how we do. Well, I don't know. I'm going to try another manual landing here, and I'm going to see if I can get it done. And it's rising just as I'm sitting here. The drone was raising in height. Okay, you're watching me try and adjust it there. So that's about as close as we're going to get, and you can see it moving around. I'm going to go full stick down, so the stick full down now, and let's see. Sticks full down.
Landing.
Finally went into landing mode, and when it got down there, it said that it was, you know, at one point 1.5 meters below the surface. Now, half a meter, which that's 1.5 feet. And I think we need to do something fun with this guy.
Refresh the return point. Please mind the return position.
So I'm still in film mode. I wondered why it was raising up so slow. I put it in sport mode. Let's get some altitude here. And let's go over the school and take some video and take some pictures. Full stick forward. We should get some pretty good speed here. That's when this drone is really fun. Okay, so we're looking at the Boise front. We got some pretty good clouds here, so looking pretty darn good. Let me drop the gimbal down, get that rule of thirds just a little. Man, that looks really nice, doesn't it? So I'm going to stop recording for a second. We're going to take some pictures. That's one of the things that I failed to do with this drone. So we're going to put it in picture mode. And I want to check my settings. Yeah, color ordinary. We're good. Okay, so let's take a picture there. And then let's spin it around the other direction. And this is into the sun now. So, and that's kind of back towards where we are. Let's, sorry about that quick yaw. I am in sport mode. Let's take a picture there. And I can see on here the sky is kind of blown out, but let's see how that looks in the picture. Okay, I'm going to go back into photo mode. Or video mode, excuse me. And let's go full stick forward here. And let's see how fast we can get this baby up to. 16 meters per second, and it sounds like a Formula One racer. 17 meters per second. Man, it is moving across the sky here. And it's out over the field.
Low battery warning.
Yeah, it's about to go into return to home, so we're just going to let it do that itself.
Return to home.
Okay, so the drone just went into return to home, and I am using the GoPro because the battery died on my camera, on my Canon camera, excuse me. So it's good to have the GoPro, and Sarah was good enough to go get it for me. So let's we're down to 20% battery, and it's coming back. We'll try another precision landing here, and let's see how it does. Okay, it's coming down. I'm going to stop recording on the camera on the drone now. Yeah, you'll be able to see it on the GoPro here. And you'll be able to see it move around a little bit. It's looking for it. Yeah, all that stability testing, I may not have had it recording, so we might not have. And we got a little breeze coming up here, so you can see the drone moving around. This is a good test. I mean, the wind just really came up here just now. Yeah, so it missed it by, I don't know, I'm going to say 1.5 feet or so, but that's not too bad. Hey guys, so the Hubsan Zino 2, we just had the firmware update, and we wanted to look and see how improved it was. So just to remember what we upgraded to firmware version 0.0.78, and that was to improve altitude hold function, landing mode, and flight control capability. Now, all of those equal stability, right? You want it to land right, and altitude hold. You want it to hold its position well. So in kind of a mixed bag. I think, a little bit, I did a conclusion out in the field, and I think I was a little bit too hard on it. So especially after reviewing the video, it's better than I think what I initially thought when I was looking at it out in the field. So they did improve it, and kudos to Hubsan for doing that. The other two major problems, well, yeah, problems with this drone are the micro shakes in the video. Now, I just reviewed the video footage, and it's still there. And Hubsan, you got to fix that. Now, I'm going to add, I'm looking at it on a 32-inch curved monitor, so I'm getting that big screen, so it's probably more evident to me than it would be if you're watching it on a smaller screen on a phone or a tablet. You probably wouldn't even see it. But I'm even thinking that if you were on just a regular computer screen, you're going to see it. Now, if you're watching these videos on your big screen TV, you are absolutely going to see it then. And I don't get that. It's obviously that they don't have this gimbal isolated enough, is my guess, and it's getting a little bit of vibration in there. Hubsan, you got to fix that. You just do. If you're gonna compete in the stabilized camera drone realm, that's got to be something that gets fixed. Now, I'm sure people say that you could with these foldable props that you could balance them or whatever. Well, you know what? I don't have to do that on my FEMI. I don't have to do that on my DJI drones. Did they not come balanced? I don't know. That point made, maybe I'll switch out the props with the spares and see if that makes any kind of difference one of these days. But it's a problem. And then, in addition, the sun flare, and you're going to see, you've already seen the video, we had the sun up above, and that flare issue is still there. I don't think there's much they can do about that. Honestly, that one doesn't bug me that much. I know the kind of the hardcore photographers or videographers, that bugs them a lot more than it does me. That's just me personally. And maybe these micro shakes don't bug you. I mean, it's all a matter of taste, right? Obviously. But I'm going to say, I don't get those shakes with my FEMI. In fact, I don't get those shakes on my original Hubsan Zino, the original one. So could have done a better job of isolating that gimbal. But with regard to stability, I think they did improve it. I think it was better on landing. Now, altitude hold, for the most part, it did better, but there were a couple of occasions, one when I stopped when it rose way up and then came and sunk back down. I don't get that. I don't know why it still does that. It makes you wonder about these sensors on the bottom. How can that happen? How can that even happen? But anyway, it is improved over what I saw before, just in forward flight and in takeoff and just hanging there. It did seem to be marginally more controllable too. So that's an improvement. I guess that's about it. The Hubsan Zino 2 is a drone that I really want to like, because I like the original Zino so much. I really am hoping that Hubsan will keep working on this, and for me, the one thing, if they could get that video stabilized where it didn't have those shakes in it, and like I said, usually you see them when the drone's descending, which kind of makes sense as the drone's coming down, sometimes in fast flight. If you'll look at when I did my droney, the first part of the droney, the manual droney that I did, you'll see it in the first part of that, some shakes there. So anyway, that's, I guess, about all there is to say. I think that this firmware upgrade, it's an incremental improvement. Is it perfect? No. Is it better? Yes. So anyway, this is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel. I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And no question, we will see you on the next one. Bye now.